Today's episode of Batman is Pretty Poison, a nice little introduction to the character of Poison Ivy. First off, the actress who voiced her in this episode did a fantastic job. She goes from being very sweet to being completely evil and insane, all in just a few seconds, with a crazy evil laugh to back it up. This episode also does a great job of setting up the friendship between Bruce Wayne and Harvey Dent, with a little bit of dramatic irony thrown in. All in just the first few minutes of this episode, it kind of tells us everything we need to know about him, and there's this great line with Harvey where he says, regarding Bruce, there's nothing we don't know about each other. And then it cuts to Bruce being Batman, and it's kind of funny with the dramatic irony where he's like, there's nothing we don't know about each other, but yet he doesn't know that he's Batman. And that makes it all the more powerful and tragic when Dent, spoiler alert, but not really, if you've seen any version of Batman ever, Dent eventually becomes the villain Two-Face. So that's a nice little setup for when he falls and becomes Two-Face later. It's going to be all the more powerful and tragic. And there's also this nice little moment where Poison Ivy is at a fancy restaurant and she orders escargot. And it's funny because snails often eat plants. So this is a nice little ironic reversal as well, because of course she's known for having a plant life and now she's eating snails. That's kind of funny. The third act, straight out of a comic book, with Batman being captured by a giant Venus flytrap while Poison Ivy explains her plan and motivations. Really doesn't get much more comic booky than that. That's just that's the perfect way of having it, again, be sort of established this is a world of comic books without being so campy that it's facepalmy, but it's just campy enough. It's just fun enough. And her motivations actually make sense. She reveals that she got engaged to Harvey Dent to get revenge on him for building a prison or whatever it was over a botanical garden, which was great motivation for this character. She has good motivations. She wants to save the environment. She wants to preserve endangered plants. And her execution of the ideas, though, is just evil. So, not the best execution of her ideas, but good motivations. You kind of see where she's coming from. That's good. You can kind of be like, yeah, you have good ideas there, lady. You're just not doing it in the best way. You kind of need a little bit of psychological help because you're crazy laugh. But great episode with a great introduction to some great characters.